Hello everyone, this is Indu. I have started free full stack .NET course for 1 month in which in the first week we will cover basic .NET fundamental of .NET Core, like how we can make a simple CRUD operation in the .NET Core and all the OOPS concept, and also we will cover here solid principles. And in the next week we will make a routing dependency injection, how we can use the automapper and DTOs CRUD operations. And after we can learn about EF core, how to implement, how we can follow a code first approach and database first approach, how we can implement JWT token with authentication, how to implement refresh token, how we can handle a global exception handling, and also we will cover how we can implement clean architecture, onion architecture, or monorepo architecture, repo architecture, and microservices. So today's day one of our full stack .NET course. So today we will start from the scratch how we can make a simple CRUD operation in .NET Core. So our first step is you need to install Visual Studio 2022, and second one is you need to install this SQL Server, Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. So these two tools you need to run your application or create a .NET project. So first is you need to click here, create a new project. Wait a minute. So here we can choose this option ASP.NET Core Web API. So if you can start from the first, it is showing like that way ASP.NET Core Web API, a project template for creating RESTful web APIs using .NET Core. So we need to choose this one and click on the next button. And here you can give any name, your project name. For now we are creating a first CRUD operation, and we can make this simple. So anyone, if you like anyone just started .NET series, so he can easily understand. And here we can't follow any like advanced concept, we can make it simple. And this is helpful for the basic building block how we can make a simple CRUD operation. So here we can give the project name, you can give any name, it's your choice. And the next is here we are using version .NET 8.0, and click on the create. Okay. So our after creating this .NET application, our first step is we need to install three package. That is, I also add here. Step one, we need to install three package. First one is the entity framework core. So we to install that package, we need to go here tools and pack Nugget package manager, and here is the option. Then you can click here browse. So here is the option. First one is Microsoft dot anti framework core. So why we the next interview question, important question, why we use anti framework core. So I also write here important question, why we use entity framework core. It's an important question for .NET interview. So EF core is the bridge between your application and your database. For example, this is our application that we can make here, and this is our application. So it will be help to communicate with our application and database. So EF core is the between our application and the database. It will track all the changes, all the changes. For example, you can add data, update data, or any changes you can do. It will do all the changes, and it helps to write C# checks. It helps to communicate with C# objects rather than writing row SQL queries. Row SQL queries. So it will provide us like that way. It's a simply you can say it's a bridge between our application, and it will track all the changes what you can do, and it helps to communicate with C# objects rather than row SQL queries. What is the row SQL query? Row SQL queries you don't need to write like that way. Before AF core we need to write like that way if we would do any changes in the database, like this select star from product where ID is equal to 1. But with the help of EF core, we can write simply like that way. Product is equal to DbContext dot products dot find. So it's also working same like that. And EF core automatically converted this query in row SQL queries when we can get data from the database, when we can update or any changes we can do. So it will converted this line like this query to a row SQL query. And our first package, this we need to install Microsoft dot anti framework dot core. So here we can choose this version .NET 8.0 version. So we can try to install package. Mm, So I can for now I am using this package 9.0.1. So if we can choose this version. So in the next three package we can install, you can try to use same version. So for now we are using this version, and I can install 9.0. Okay, we can use this 10 and install this package. So our first package will be installed here. So it's our first package. Second package is which database we are using. For example, for now we are using SQL Server. And if you are using a PostgreSQL or a MongoDB, that time you can install that package. For now, we are using SQL Server. So we also install the package that related to EF core. So we can install the package Microsoft.antifimbercore.sql server. So we can again go here and go to tools, Nugget Package Manager. So I will start this .NET full stack course, and every day I will be live same time 7:30 to 8:30, and you need to search from here SQL Server. and this is our package microsoft.antiframework.sql server. And here again we can take a same version 9.0.10, because if you are using a different version here, so sometime it will give the error to version mismatch. So try to use same version that you can select in the first. And because we are working in a .NET 8, so I think this is used for the .NET 8, and this is updated, this is used for the .NET 9 or 10. So I can, for now we are using a .NET 8, because in the .NET 9 it's also stable, but that's not provided the some option like prevailed auto prevailed swagger UI. So you need to install that package. So that's why for now you can choose, if you are started for first time, you can choose this version .NET 8.0. So we can install this package SQL Server for the database, which database we are using. So here we can use a SQL Server. So this is our second step. And our third step is here we can use the anti-framework code. So add that data, like that table in the database, we need to do add migration or update database. So when we can just created a class, and after that we can add it in the DB set, but we need to make that class in our database. Here we need to run the command add migration and update database. To using this command, we need to install one package, that is the tools. With the help of tools we can run that command. So this is the next package we need to install. So again we can use a Microsoft anti-framework core, and if you can see here, it will give the enables commonly used add migration, bundle migration, drop migration, update migration. So these all the commands will be provided by microsoft.efcore.tools. So we need to install this package also. So we can click here, and again we can choose same version 9.0.9. So here we can install three packages. First one is EF Core, SQL Server and Tools. So this is our step one. Our steps two is we need to add our connection string here in the app setting.json file. So this is also important question, why we use the app setting.json file. Firstly, we will cover EF core. This is also important question. Second one is why we use a connection string. Why we use .json file. So in the app setting.json file, we can write our all the configuration. For example, if you are using a JWT keys, JWT configuration, we also write here our connection string. We can add it here. For example, any like commonly one URL or one path you are using, so we can configure here. So here we can write our all the configurations. configuration here. So this is also important question in .NET interview. So in a app setting.json file, we can write our all the configuration if they are related to JWT, or if you are implemented to value configuration or SendGrid configuration. So all the configuration, for example, you can use Azure blob storage. So all the configuration we can write here. But for now, we can add here simple connection string here. So here we can give the name DbContext. You can give any name. This name we can register in our program.cs file. So here firstly we will write server. What is server? That we can get from here. So if you can click here. So in my system, server name is a local host. Every system have a different. So when you can install SQL Server Management Studio, when you can open here, give the option server name. So for now, my system is a server, so local host. So I can copy same exact here. Second one is you can give the database name. For example, we are making a first CRUD operation. You can give any name, DV first CRUD operation. And next one is we can add it for the security. Integrated security is equal to true, and trust server certificate is equal to true. This is mainly used for the secure connection with our application and database. So these four keywords we need to write here. Next one is the integrated security is equal to true, and trust server certificate is equal to true. So this is our step two to add the configuration. Add the connection string in the app setting.json file. Step 3 is we can, for now we can make one class. For example here, this is the first application we can create. So here we can't follow any solid principle or a dependency injection or oops concept. Mainly we can, this is the building block I can explain. So anyone who is the fresher, you can easily understand. So this is the basic step to make a CRUD operation. In the next project, we can do some advanced things like implement solid principle or all the OOPS concept. So firstly, like this is the basic step that we can follow in any small or a higher level project. So I can make here class user name and email. For example, like you can add anything here. So this is the class we can created. This is the in-memory class not created in the database. To make this same class exact in the database, we need to make one class application DbContext. So here we can insert a DbContext. That file will be provided by this package that we can install EF core, anti-framework core. It is used to make the bridge between your application or the database. Or here inside the DB set, we can write all the table that we want to create in the database. For example, and after that we need to run the two commands, that is add migration or update data. For now here I am not inherited DB context and I am not added this table, our user table in the DB context. So this table will not created in our database that we can add it here in the app setting.json file. So for now if I add here, add migration, add user table, so it will give the error. So you can see here it will give the error, no DB context was found in the assembly. So we need to inherit this class and this class will be provided by AF core. So here I can inherit this class and this class will be provided by this namespace anti-framework core. So you can see here we need to install this, and here one also important question, why we use using keyword. This is a also important question in .NET interview. This is the basic C# question, why we use using keyword. So we can use using keyword to import the namespaces, and it's also work as a garbage collector. It automatically close that file we are not to longer use. So it's write, it helps to write a clean code. For example, if you are not using the using keyword, so it will give the error. So you can see here it give the error. You have another option will be you can write like that way. So it's also working, but in that case this code is not looking good. And for example, if you have a multiple time you can use a DbContext file, so every time you can reuse, like uh, it's a duplicate code and you can write again and again. So to solving this we can use a using keyword and we can import this namespace. And inside here in the DB set we can add all the table. For example, DB set, this is provided by .NET Core, and here it will do all the changes like track all the changes, right, convert our C# objects to a row SQL queries. So these all provided by this package that we can install. So it will handle all the things. So in the public DB set, we can make a table name user. So this is our class in memory table user. We can add here, and here we can give the table name that we want in the database. For example, if we I added here like that way, this table will be created in the database. For now, every time that name of our table, for example our table name is a product, so here we can in the database we can make a products. So same, this is the formal way to write table's name. So for now our table name will be users, so in the database it will be created a user. So here you can give any name that you want to, exact name in the database you want to create that table. So for now we can give a user, and here we can add constructor for the application DB context. So here we can make the constructor, and it will do all the things like track all the changes, like what we are adding, updating, getting any data. All the things will be handled by this DbContext file. And inside the public's DB set, we can add all the tables. So these are also important question: why we use a DbContext file, why we use a DbContext. So this is also important question. So this is our step 3, context file, where we can inherit DbContext with the help of inheritance. And here inside the DB set, we can add our tables. So now we can add this table in the DbContext. Our next step is we need to register this application DbContext and connection string in our program.cs file. So this is also an important question: why we use a program.cs file. So this is the entry point of the application. For example, if I can run this application, this file will be the first file that will be run when we can run this application. For example, if I run here, so you can see here I am getting breakpoint here. So this is the first file that will be run when we can run this application, and we need to register all the services here. For example, any you can use any middleware or JWT keys you can write here. All the things you need to register here in the program.cs file. So this is also important question in .NET Core: why we use program.cs file, why we use DbContext and DbSet. Next, why we use a using keyword. And fifth number is why we use a program.cs file in .NET Core. So it is the entry point of the .NET Core application, and it is the first file that will run when we run the application. So here we need to register our connection string. So here, before build, before this build, we need to add after inside the builder.services with the help of builder.services. So I can add here command. Here we need to register the connection string or our database. Like we, and here we can define which database we are using. For example, if you're using a MongoDB or PostgreSQL, so you can define here. So also here we can define which database we are using. So I can add it here builder.services dot add DbContext. So it will give the option to add this dot add db. So this is the add db context. Here you can add your db context file. For example, our db context name is application db context. So you can copy here. So I can add it here. Next one is you can define which database you are using. So options, lambda expression, options dot use. For example, we are using SQL Server. So here is the option use SQL Server. So here we are using SQL Server, and then you can define here which connection string you are using. For example, we are using a here our we can write our connection string, this one. So we need to write here. So how we can get this connection string? With the help of builder.configuration.get connection string. So you need to write here builder dot configuration dot get connection string, and inside this you can write your connection string. So we need to install this. Something will be missing. Options dot use SQL server, builder dot configuration dot get connection string, and here we can write our connection string. So here this is the name we need to write here. In the DB context we can write these four keywords: server name, localhost, and database, which database we are using, integrated security, and trust server certificate. So you need to copy this and you can add here. So here what we can do, we can adjust our connection string. Firstly, we will define here builder.services add db context, which db context we are using. So here, for example, if you are using shop db context, store db context, any file name you can give here. And options dot which SQL server. For example, if you use another database, Postgres, so that time you are using a use Postgres server, use MongoDB server, and like that way you can get a connection string. Like we are getting this section that we can write here. For example, if you are getting this section, you can write same like that, builder dot configuration dot get section, and you can add this keyword logs, and you can get these all the keywords. So like that way we can get any configuration from the app setting.json file with the help of builder dot configuration. Okay, so this is the step 4. To register the connection string in the program.cs file. So like that way we can register our connection string. So here we can do all the basic setup to make a simple application. Like we can add it up, like make a connection with the database. Our next step is to create this table in the database. For example, this we can add it here in the side the DB set, but this is not created in the database. So to create in the database, we need to run here one command, that is add migration and update database. So here you can run the command add hyphen migrations, and you can give here any name, but for now we are making migration for the user, so we can every time we can take to a proper name, so any new developer can easily understand like we for which we can add this migration. So I can add here, add user table. Okay, so this migration will be created here. For example, ID is a primary key and auto generated. And for let me check here. Okay, we are added here ID int. We need to set this int. So if you don't want, for example, you can see here, your migration folder will be created. So if you are like, this is not a good migration, I want to remove, so you can just run this command, remove migration. So your migration will be added. Okay, so now I have added ID will be int. So again, I can add the migration. So you can see here this migration will be created here. ID is a primary key or int, and other another name, email, and password. This will be a string type. And this is the in-memory migration will be added. This record will not updated in the database. To update this same record in the database with this is the username, because here we can give the name users. So same exact name will be created in our database. So to run this, we need to run one command, that is a update database. So you can see here now, I think this database will be created in the database, and in the database also maintain this migration that we can add it here in the EF migration history table. So let's check in the database. So our database name will be this DB first CRUD operation. So I can check here, connect from here, DB first CRUD operation. So this is our database, and there is a one table we are created user, and this is the migration history. So here we can added a one migration for now, only this one, and here it will give the which version you are using. So we are using 9.0.10, and we can added this migration. You can see here add user table. So this migration will be added here, and this user table also added here. Um, this migration will be added, and this user table will be added. We can add it four fields, so these four fields are added. So like that way, if you want to add five tables, so you can easily add with the help of EF core. You just need to register here in the application DbContext. For now, if you are created in table and not added in the DB set, so that table will not created in your database. So every time when you can make a new class, you need to add here inside the DB set, public DB set. For now, I we can make a new class product. Um, Next class we can create. This is just for understanding how EF core will work. Okay, and here we can follow first principles of solid, that is a single responsibility principle. Single responsibility principle. It means a class should have only the single responsibility and single reason to change. So for now we are following same. In the user table we can add the details related to user. In the product table we can relate it to a product, and here in the user profile we can add things related to a per user profile, not all the things in a same class. So this is exact our first principle. A class should have only the single responsibility and single reason to change. only the single responsibility and single reason to change. So for now, every class have a single responsibility if we want to change anything. So that will be related to user profile. For example, if I added here public uh, public int order ID. So that time we can't follow a solid principle. So this is related to order. So we can make a separate table or order for order and where we can added this public int order ID. So if we here we can add only extend if we want to relate it to things that are related to a user profile. For example, if we want related to public string username. So that is related to a user profile. So that's also the same thing will ask a single responsibility principle. A same reason to change, same reason to extend, and a class should have only the single responsibility. So same thing we can follow here. So every class have a single responsibility or single reason to change. We only change if we want to any update related to user profile, not any another table. So we can create it here three table. So like that way we are created three table for now. I can added here only two table. Public DB set. I can added only user profile. Okay. And in the database, I will give the name profiles or you can, uh, I can add, it's your choice. You can give anything. So here I can add it only user profile, not product. So product table will not created in the database. Like even you are added in the class, but not added here. So you can check here. So here we are added user profile so you can see here it will create only the user profile table. But if in the migration you can see here id is a primary key and this only one table. So I want to add both table in one migration. So I can run the command remove migration and I can add here. I can add here public db set our table product and products. Then I can add the migration, add migration and product. So in this migration we can add it two table user profile and next one is a product table. So you can see here in the migration, here it will be a created products and user profile and ID is a primary key in the word table and this is the two table will be created in the database. So firstly we will check in here in the database. So firstly you can check the migrations, EF migration history. So their migration will be updated. Let me check. Okay, we need to refresh this. Okay, we are just created the migration, not run the command update database. To show this migration in the database and this table in the database, this is the in-memory migration, not update in the database. To update in the database, we need to run here command update database. So now it will be showing here. So this migration will be added here and also showing here like board table we can add So you can see here product and user table will be created here. So this is our next step to add migration and update database. So this is the basic fundamental step. Every project you can make, you need to do these steps. Step 5, to make that table in the database, we need to run command update database. First command will be add migration, and your migration, add your any table name you can give, migration name you can give, and the next one is update database. So this is the basic step to make a CRUD operation. Next one is we can make a simple CRUD operation. For now, we are not following any dependency injection. This is the basic. And the next step is we can make a CRUD operation. Add a controller, API, and for example, we can make for user controller. So here, firstly, we can inject directly DbContext, our business logic here, because here we can't follow a dependency injection. But in the next incoming lecture, we can follow dependency injection. Then you have a better understanding why we use the dependency injection rather than writing all the code in the same controller. For now, we are writing all the code in same controller here. So I can directly inject our DbContext file here, and we can inject inside the constructor. So this is also important question. What is the constructor? So constructor is a special member function which is automatically called when we create the object of the class. So here important question is, what is the constructor? Public. Here we can make constructor controller, and inside the constructor we can inject this DbContext file. And here also important question is, what is the this is HTTP method. So we have a 3 4 5 types mainly. What are the HTTP methods? So we have a first one is HTTP get. When we are getting any data from the database, that time we can use HTTP get. When we add anything in the database, that time we can use HTTP post. When we can update, that time we can use put. And when we can fully we can up partially we can want to update, that time we can use the HTTP patch, but mainly we can use put. And next one is delete. So these are the HTTP methods. HTTP delete. So for now, first we can make for the get all API. So we can use HTTP get here. And here you also want to give, you can give a name get all. So you can easily understand this API for the get all. So you can add here get all. So here we can use a EF4. So with the help of two list, we can easily get the list. So simply we can write users is equal to context dot users dot to list. Here we are getting a list, and we can return the list, return, we can return OK, It will provide a status code 20 like success if you can get this record, otherwise it will give the error. Next we can make with the help of gateway ID. Next we can do with the help of gateway ID. For example, any name you can give here. Okay, so this is done for today class. In the next class, we will cover this, and you can prepare these important question that we can discuss here. And the next question is, what is the constructor? What is the constructor? So important question in the .NET Core. And next we will cover what is the single responsibility principle. Okay, so this is done for today class. So if you like this video, this live class, please like, share, and comment. It's really motivates me to make the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.